Yeah, that ain't cool, man. I mean, if you doing that behind your girl back and you ain't telling her what's going on, man. Yeah, man, not cool at all, man. But one thing I want to ask you about, how you feel about the backlash Eminem got for the line he made about Megan Thee Stallion? He got a line in his new song saying that, let me see if I can pull it up right quick. Let me see. All right, here we go. If I was to ask Megan Thee Stallion if she'll collab with me, would I really have a shot at her feet?
Okay. Um,
And feet, that's, short for feature.
I guess it wasn't appropriate. Here's my thing. Whether it's Culture Vulture, DJ Vlad, whether it's Eminem, we should have rules for outsiders who come into our culture. And one of those rules, the first rule should be that you will not be allowed to disrespect Black women at any time for any reason. If you feel disrespected by a Black woman, you will come to a Black man and we will mediate the situation. But you are not allowed to make jokes. You are not allowed to insult. And if I was in charge, you're not allowed to make contact, especially not aggressive contact with Black women for any reason. The problem with us is we invite everybody to the table with no rules to follow.
If I'm not mistaken, because I've never heard it personally, but I heard that it's some audio or a mixtape out there of him coming at black women. Is that true?
He does have that. He does have audio dissing Black women. Someone sent me something where he has used the N-word. Of course, he attacked Michael Jackson back when Michael Jackson was being accused of child molestation, which we found out later to be all fabricated. The reason Michael Jackson was accused of the child molestation, the reason those fake charges were put on Michael Jackson is at the time Michael Jackson was he was actually in the process of offering a bid to buy Marvel Comics. Michael Jackson was going to be the owner of Marvel Comics and the owner of the Beatles catalog. Think about that for a minute. And that is part of the reason why the white power structure of this country decide to ultimately destroy him publicly and then take his life. Michael Jackson was a financial genius, as was Prince. Imagine if Michael Jackson created Black Panther. Now, our good brother did a good job. Ryan Coogler, hats off to him. He did a great job in Black Panther. But could you imagine if Michael Jackson was the owner of Marvel when Black Panther was created? Could you imagine how much more fascinating that movie and every other movie out of the Marvel studio would have been with Michael Jackson's DNA all over it? Michael Jackson was in the process of buying Marvel, and that's why he had to be accused of molesting those children.
I had no idea that he was trying to buy Marvel. But I want to ask you, how you feel about the situation between Drake and Kendrick calling him a colonizer?
I listen to mostly older rappers. A lot of my music is 90s, 80s, 2000s. Same thing with R&B. Here's my take. I will never deny a mixed race African their Africanity. As a Pan-Africanist myself and all of my Pan-Africanist forefathers going back 300 years, we have always affirmed that mixed race Africans were Africans as long as they identify. If Drake considers himself a Black man, full time now, this is not part time. If Drake considers himself an African on a full time basis, he's my brother. Now, to Kendrick's point, if Drake is acting Black but living white, if he's only trying to be Black to sell records, but in his private life, he conducts himself and identifies as a white man, if he plan on raising his children as mixed race kids or white, then I got an issue with Drake. I don't accept that crap. If you mix race, you're going to be Black and that's it. You don't have to renounce your white family. That's your family. That's your white mother, your white father. You respect your parents. Always respect your in-laws, respect your grandparents, respect them. But politically and spiritually and socially, you're African. If that's where Drake is, I'm good with it. But as far as Kendrick Lamar highlighting contradictions in Drake's political behavior, I don't have a problem with the highlights if they are true. But here's my bigger question to both of them. Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Rick Ross, who else got caught up in that? J. Cole, anybody. What are you doing to build a relevant institution in the Black community? Anybody asks me about the beef? Is Kendrick Lamar building any relevant institution for the black community? School, bank, hospital, supermarket, manufacturing, distribution. And if you don't want to do a relevant institution, what about a relevant service? Homelessness, mental health treatment without drugs, rehabilitation. Give me a service if you can't give me a relevant institution. If they not doing that, they don't really matter to me at all. I'm all about solutions and institutions. You either come into Dr. Umar with a solution for a problem or an institution to save our people. Because the crowning embarrassment of Black America in 2024 is we are a $2 trillion people, and yet we are as dependent on Caucasians and their institutions today as we were when we got out of slavery. That is not acceptable. With the celebrities we got and the billionaires that we have and the millionaires that we have, how in the hell do we not have our own hospitals? Explain that with all the medical doctors we have. How we don't have enough independent schools for our children. Explain that with all the PhDs that we have. Explain how we don't have our own supermarkets with all the farmers and agriculturalists that we have. Look at Bill Gates. Bill Gates is the largest owner of arable farmland in America. Bill Gates. Now, we know he wants to poison the food and give that to black people as a form of genocide. We know that. Bill Gates' food has already been outlawed in different countries around the world. So we know he's up to death through the food. We know how this works. They do it in Africa all the time. We get it. But if Bill Gates, as a computer scientist, can get into building farms, why can't we do the same thing? I was at a farm conference, HBCU, Delaware State, a few months ago. Do you know what I learned there? Most of our farmers are aging out. They're getting older and they don't have the physical vitality to run them farms. And do you know what the black farmers said at the HBCU Delaware State Farming Conference? We can't find enough young black people to train. We can't find enough young black people to train to replace us. And black farmers are only 1% of all the farmers in the country as it is, brother. Are we going to continue to be dependent upon non-African people for our food source? A $2 trillion people, and you don't even have your own food source? And this is as true for poor Africans in America as it is true for wealthy Africans in America.